This is file number 241179ON. It's entitled, I believe, Constantine Township versus James Edward Jelinek and others. Mr. Douglas Kuhlman is here as the zoning enforcement officer for that jurisdiction. Also, Attorney Aaron Geschwint is here on behalf of the township. And Mr. Troy Shearer is here as a witness. We got multiple phone calls from the Jelineks indicating it was going to be difficult for them to be here today. They were taking a trip or something. And I was reluctant because I'd already scheduled this for this date. The law firm and Mr. Kuhlman was scheduled to be here this date. And I just said, you can come by Zoom. So I can't tell who's here on their behalf. It says James Jelinek. Who is there?
James. I'm James, Your Honor.
All right. So where are you, James?
I'm in Kalamazoo. And Your Honor, I have no idea of calling in saying I couldn't make it or something.
All right, maybe I got my cases mixed up. Maybe it was Miss Nickerson. Could you turn your camera on?
Okay, let me see what's up. What y'all just do? Portrait. Okay, it should be on now.
It's not, but let's just do the best we can. Mr. Kuhlman, Mr. Shearer, and Mr. Jelinek, I want you each to please raise your right hand. You all swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief.
I do.
I do.
All right, Mr. Shearer, you agree?
Yes.
All right. This is a property on Tim Road. There you go, Mr. Jelinek.
Okay.
We've been dealing with this for some time. There is a compliance order in effect. We were last here, same date as the last case, January 25th. The defendant had made some progress, but no permits had been pulled. He contended he was not living there. Set for a review hearing today, May 7th, 2025. Ms. Geschwint was here then, and it's helpful to have the same lawyer that has the continuing history. I looked yesterday to see whether there were any updates in the file, and there weren't. So some appeared this morning. File February.
I do have a paper copy for you if you'd like, for Your Honor.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. Mr. Kuhlman went out and did a new inspection on May 5th. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And before I turn it over here, pending the status hearing, an anonymous call is worth the paper it's not written in, but my office has received approximately 6 anonymous telephone calls advising Mr. Jelinek was back living at the property and using a generator. Advised he was staying at the township, came out, he was going to tell them he was just cleaning it up. Did you actually do another administrative search warrant?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
All right, so you got an administrative search warrant on May 2nd and you went back out on May 5th.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. And is this the report of your execution of that search warrant and the results?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Ms. Geschwint, are you going to move to admit that as exhibit number 1 for this hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Kuhlman, is that a copy of your report and a fair and accurate photograph of the pictures?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
We'll receive this as exhibit number 1 for this hearing. which is 5725 JC. All right, Mr. Coolman, what did you find upon your inspection of this property on May 5th?
Your Honor, unlike most inspections, I did this inspection at 10 o'clock at night because the anonymous call said that he was staying there as you indicated and that he was just going to say that you gave him permission to be there during the day. So we did this, executed it at 10 o'clock at night. Mr. Jelinek was out on the property. He was burning something, I'm not sure what, but there were lights on in the house. When I asked him how the lights were on in the house, he said a generator. I asked him to show me the generator. He took me to a generator that was covered up with a tarp and non-operational. I did not hear any other generator operating, so that's when he told me that he was powering them by batteries. I asked him to show me the batteries. Excuse me. We kind of meandered through the property going nowhere. I finally said, I need to see where you're getting power into your house. I would direct you to pages 20 and 21 of my report. He actually took me to where the meter base of the house is. And he actually said a friend of his, he wouldn't tell me who, a friend of his actually untaped the wire ends of the power line coming to the house and added a cable to that, which then on page 21 reflects where this cable is, or page 20 is showing the cable coming down to the ground, and there's just a ready box outlet there that he had 2 extension cords plugged into, and he was running those extension cords back into the house and to the accessory building. He had, again, won't tell me who, but did admit that he understood that he was actually stealing power from the power company. As a result of that, we did call American Electric Power. They did come out and terminate the power up to the top of the pole so that that can't happen again. Once I went into the house, there was a female subject inside the house by the name of Crystal Meadows. Looks like she was drinking some kind of a excuse me, some kind of a pop and watching television. There was a tower light with 2 lights turned on there. There was an electric space heater in the room. I'm going to estimate the temperature in that room was probably 75 degrees because the heater was working quite well. I did notice another one of the gas-fired wall furnaces that is attached to the shake shingle wall that still had a pilot light running, so it was fully operational. I went into the kitchen. There's pictures in there indicating the kitchen area. On page 24 of my staff report, there's a fresh piece of meat laying on the island of the counter. Looks like they're getting ready to prep for a meal. Page 25 of my staff report shows the refrigerator completely full of food. And on page 26 of the report shows the picture of the freezer with a bag of ice in it and looks like some ice cream and some other items in there. Mr. Jelinek did admit to me, it started out that he said he'd only been living there for the last week. However, the last communication that I heard him talking with the sheriff's department said he'd been there approximately at 1.5 weeks to 2 weeks. There is some debris laying out in the ground. Mr. Jelinek is telling me that he is preparing for a garage sale and has been having garage sales. I can only take him for his word at that, but right now I don't have a whole lot of respect for his word. There are 2 vehicles. One's on page 30 of the staff report. The hood's up on it. It's got a tow strap on it. I believe he said he was having to put a new transmission in that one. The other vehicle that we've seen all along through this inspection on page 31 is that white panel truck that's been on the property. That now is jacked up in the front of it, and he indicated to me that he was making repairs on that as well. I did receive some communication that Mr. Jelinek was in the process of selling his property. So I did pull it up on the web and found out that in fact he does have the property for sale. It is actually pending a sale. So I reached out to the realtor, which is Mr. Shear, and asked him if he was aware that there was currently a court action going on with this property. And we were due in court this week. And he knew absolutely nothing about this being in any court action. So I did, on page 32 of the report is
The listing.
a copy of the listing. And then if you go way back to page 64, is actually the disclosure agreement that Mr. Jelinek signed, that clearly indicates that there is no action pending of litigation. There is no violations of any building codes or anything like that. There's items 2, 3, and 11 on the disclosure agreement are clearly a blatant lie in his responses. I don't know what to do here, Your Honor. I'm frustrated with him. He can't tell me the truth. He's defying your orders. He's defying the township. I don't know where to go from here, Your Honor.
Mr. Shear, have you heard the testimony here?
Yes. I
And
just heard
have
it.
you been retained to sell this property?
Yes.
And there's a buyer
Actually have
ready
it pending right
to
now.
purchase it?
Yep.
Did they inspect it?
They want it for the land.
How much acreage is there?
The
I
acreage,
believe it's just a little over 2, Your Honor, if I recall.
2.6, Your Honor.
Well, that might solve it. I can't imagine. Are they a remote buyer from somewhere else?
nope, they're local.
This place is about ready to burn down. It's got a gas fireplace built into the wall that was supposed to be disconnected. And doesn't meet code. It's got a funky space heater in it. It's got unlawful and uninspected electrical. It's amazing it hasn't burned down. There has been a tragic fire on this property. Have you inspected the property?
No, I have not.
How imminent is the closure of that sale?
Can you repeat that?
How imminent is the sale of the property?
The net sale? Let me look
Yes.
at the contract right now. 100,000.
No, but is there a closing date or anything?
Yes, we are still working on the closing date. It is on or before the next week. So on or before the 15th.
Well, they're buying into a whole bunch of problems.
Yes, and is
Now,
there
it'd
any
be one
doc?
thing if they just came in and raised this and then scraped the ground clean and started fresh. But if they're gonna try to reside in this house, it has all kinds of work that needs to be done with it to get an occupancy permit.
Your Honor, I'm not sure where this is gonna go, but the power company did indicate to the sheriff's department they wanted to press criminal charges for the theft of the power as well, so. I'm not
Well,
sure
I
if
was
you're
gonna-
see a new case or not.
Get into that also. Mr. Jelinek, you are under oath. You have the Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate yourself. This is a civil zoning proceeding, but there is indication there's an investigation of a criminal complaint regarding regarding the way the power is hooked up. Also, it appears that you're in great contempt of most of my orders, which could result in a contempt finding, which could put you in jail for up to 90 days. I think I might enjoy that. So bearing in mind that anything you said could be used against you, and you don't have to say anything if you don't wish to. Is there anything you want to tell me?
Well, I'm responsible for electric. I didn't authorize it. It was done. And yeah, still haven't gotten the permit. I mailed that, excuse me. I mailed that electrical permit off beginning of January. I've never received it. As far as them heaters on the wall, they mount on any wall surface. The body of it doesn't even get warm. I have been staying out there since the first weekend of May, because I was trying to, I've taken down 9 outbuildings, got rid of 2 cars. There's a boat that was supposed to get picked up yesterday. Hopefully they'll get it today. But the house, it's just the electric problem. There's no other problems, and the inside's getting done too. A new fuse panels going on the inside. I just can't afford to live there anymore.
Ms. Geschwint, what is the township seeking here?
Thank you, Your Honor. At this point, the township, Mr. Coleman has been lied to, Mr. Shearer has been lied to, this court has been lied to. I think that's all very clear. I think that this shows a blatant disregard for this court's orders. Back in 21, he was still ordered to not reside in the house, and that's when 2 children tragically died in a fire on this property as a direct defiance of this court's order. I would ask that this court order that Mr. Jelinek, within 30 days, pull a demolition permit, have the dwelling demolished. Prior to that, allow the township to enter onto the property and board up the structure and completely seal it off so that no person or domestic animal may exist in that dangerous building. I would further ask that Mr. Coleman be able to access the property to continue to ensure that nobody is residing, sleeping in, cooking in, or dwelling in this structure. I would ask the court that if after 30 days the defendant fails to pull a demolition permit, the township may proceed to effectuate the demolition of the structure on June 15th and charge all costs for boarding up of the property and the demolition to the defendant in any legal means possible as a tax or a lien thereon. And I would ask that the defendant be ordered to pay agency fees in the amount of $375. And further, I would finally ask the court for any civil or criminal contempt the court finds appropriate in this manner.
Thank you. Well, apparently there's somebody willing to purchase this, which might solve part of our problems. The township might not have to go to the expense of destroying the property if a purchaser buys it and either makes it code compliant or tears it down. But there is the contempt issue. And so Mr. Shearer indicates there's a buyer. They might feel differently after they watch this hearing, who apparently has inspected the property. He has inspected the property. And the defendant has been defiant throughout, and 2 children died, and nobody ever got charged with anything. I don't do the charging. And then he's continued to defy this court's order. So I'm going to continue this to allow the potential sale of this property.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I don't know if when I talked with Mr. Shear yesterday, he had indicated that he knew nothing about all these problems and that he was going to terminate this contract. So I don't know whether that's still the case or whether.
All right, Mr. Shear, is your property purchaser still interested in buying this?
I'm going to talk to him after this court case, and then give him all the information that I have, that I've learned from here, then go from there.
The search warrant and accompanying photographs have been admitted as an exhibit and makes them a matter of public information. So you can share a copy of that report with Mr. Shearer, and then his buyer can decide what they want to do, if they just want it for the property. But I'm going to do a criminal contempt hearing where we're going to see whether you're in criminal contempt, in which case I'm going to seriously consider a jail sentence. Because of that, I may have an obligation to appoint counsel on your behalf. I believe I'm entitled to order up to 90 days of jail for criminal contempt in this proceeding, but I can't make a summary finding of it. I have to have a hearing regarding that, and you have to have the right to counsel because there's a possibility of a jail sentence. Wednesday, June 11th at 1:30. Does that work for you guys?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have surgery, or
No,
you'll be
my surgery is scheduled for June the 9th. You can give me a week beyond that, that would be great.
How about Wednesday, June 25th? You're scheduled to be here that morning anyway, your firm is. Wednesday, June 25th at 10. Will that work for you?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, can I make one more request that
Just a
if
minute.
somebody does purchase this property, we do need an affidavit. They will take it subject to the demo orders or the whatever current orders the court has.
Well, I'd like to give the purchaser an opportunity to be heard on this. I suspect once they find all this out, they're going to want to purchase it. Maybe they'll say, "Oh, we'll wait till the township tears it down, then we'll buy it." But so I'm not committed to that. They have made some improvements on the property. If somebody came in with a proper mindset of getting permits and licensed professionals to do the work and the capital to do it, this could be a nice little place. It's on the river. It must have 5 million gallons of toxic substances on it from all the vehicles that were parked back there. But if somebody wants to buy it, I guess that's up to them. But I suspect what's going to happen is the sale's going to fall through, but I hope not. I hope somebody agrees to buy it. And if they do, I'd like to at least hear their position on what they want to do with it. Mr. Jelinek, you don't really care what I say, so I'm not sure what you're going to do between now and June 25th. But for every night you continue to stay there, I'll continue an additional few days in jail. The power's been shut off. You got food in the refrigerator that had to be moved. You got stuff there. Your neighbors are calling in, wondering why nobody's doing anything about it. So we are going to do something about it. And there's an issue regarding raising the building on it for your absolute defiance of the court order and the finding of contempt, which could result in a jail sentence for you or other sanction. So we're going to set the contempt hearing and continued hearing regarding the violations. And Mr. Jelinek, I'm going to talk to the public defender's office regarding their ability to represent you in this matter. You certainly have a right to hire a lawyer. And my advice would be you consult with one, because there's a very solid record that you're in violation of my order and you're in contempt. But there hasn't been a finding. You haven't had a chance to respond. There may also be a criminal complaint regarding theft of the electricity. Your version is somebody else did it, but you acquiesced to it. Well, that somebody else also could be subject to a criminal charge. All of this is further compounded by the fact that you know what happened there and did it anyway. All right. I guess we have your contact information. I'm going to consult with the public defender's office regarding appointment for counsel for you for that hearing. It will be at 10 o'clock in the morning on June 25th. All right. Do you have any questions?
No, no.
All right, Mr. Shearer, Mr. Kuhlman can provide you with a copy of that report from his investigation from May 2nd. If your buyer wishes to continue with the purchase, that might solve a lot of our problems. If they don't, I certainly understand why they want to back out from this deal. But
Okay.
it is a nice piece of property if it hadn't been so corrupted. All right, we'll be in recess.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch with you, Troy.
Thank you.